Hello,
Yay!
everybody!
Look, we're both here
I
on
love it. I
time
love it. The
when it goes
Cluckers.
on.
So excited. She was a Clucker winner. Jean, that's right, Jean. You are the Clucker winner.
The Clucker. One heck of a Clucker out there.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, voting is not really over, Jean. Okay.
Maybe by the end of the month.
Yeah, I said they were having recounts and spin-offs. I'm like, oh my Lord, people, I can't handle it anymore.
No, I look at
Let's
it
go.
though. This is how I look at it.
I'm over.
It's not.
I cast my vote. My
It's
job
not
is
my
done.
problem because it's not in New Hampshire.
And now we
So
are.
it's
She's
not my
right though.
problem.
Here comes Medicare open enrollment ads. She's not kidding. We had a big insurance meeting yesterday. It's like, oh my gosh, here we go again. I said, is it that time of year already? Oh, excuse me, please. Sorry.
I remember I listened to something once. This is deeply into politics.
We can't. I don't do
Yeah,
all
no,
that.
but I read something once that prior to, I think it was 1918,
Oh.
the only interaction the average citizen had with the federal government
Is it they came around and said hi?
if they went to the post office.
Oh,
That was it.
I thought they were still delivering by horses.
Yeah, but if you went to the post office, that was really the only interaction.
Okay, we
you
got
had.
a lot to do.
Anyway.
Thank you, Jean. That's so, she said blush. I'm so sorry. I sneezed. I think it's
I
because
didn't even
Danny
catch
was
it.
over here filing her nails, and that stuff floated over to me, and it made me sneeze. And I just think that's the rudest thing ever when people file their nails in front of other people.
Sorry.
You might as well touch my feet. While
You know
you're
what
at it.
what really gets my wife going is if you brush your teeth and she can hear it. Like
Interesting.
the
I'd
sound of
much
brush.
rather have you know you brushed your teeth.
No, if she can hear you brushing your teeth, oh, she hates it.
I walk around the house brushing my
I used to, but I don't anymore because it's
That's
not.
funny as heck.
Anyway,
Anyway,
So
we got
shop-
a packed show.
we do have a lot to cover today, I think.
We do.
I've got some stuff I want to cover, but I don't want to. So let's get going, I guess.
Yes.
Only new and exciting classes, we have pajama pants on the schedule. Tuesday the 29th. It's at 4 p.m. We were trying to decide when to do it. We thought it would be better in the evening, but we didn't want to go too late because we didn't know we want to give ourselves time to finish it.
Yeah.
So 4 p.m. on Tuesday.
Okay.
So it won't be too late either if you have to drive home because there was a.
Well, it's dark by 4 anyway
Yeah,
now.
so. But anyway, so that's going to be. So sign up for that if you're interested.
Don't you have it on a Saturday too?
Not yet.
Oh,
we
not
we
yet.
just put in the.
Okay.
I just wanted to get the first one
Get the
on,
first
and
one
I'm
up there.
still got a bunch of other stuff I'm
And
trying to get on the
Brent
calendar.
is teaching PJ pants.
Maybe.
For me.
Or you. Okay.
For yeah, I did it for Danny.
For me.
Yes.
Oh, for
Not
you.
Because
Okay.
why am I? Ashley stopped in. She's like, "Oh, I'll help you teach that." So Ashley's going
Oh,
to be there,
okay.
and we might be depending. She's going to help with that, and we may also be getting more into sewing. There was the
Yeah?
idea of how to make your own patterns for customizing your clothes.
Ugh.
So we may throw that. I think she called it a slider. She had some fancy name for it,
Okay.
but we may start putting more of that on the
Yeah.
calendar as well if there's enough interest. So,
Cool.
but I realized that.
Start simple. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Start simple.
But it's funny because I realized that there's a generational gap.
Yes.
Because all of the older ladies that quilt made clothes for their children, so they're like,
That's
I have
where we came from.
they have no interest in sewing. Whereas like the under 40 crowd has never made an article of clothing,
Yes.
and they're just like, I want to learn how to make clothing.
Yeah.
So
It's interesting.
we'll see how
Yeah.
that goes. Anyway, so that's the only really new and exciting thing on the calendar. Keep an eye out on our calendar. Subscribe to our Facebook page because we are. I've got Christmas stockings we want to get on the calendar. There's going to be an Advent calendar class. There's a bunch of Christmas stuff that we're trying to get organized. It's been one of those weeks. But that's all going to be showing up, and we'll be posting those to Facebook as well as our weekly emails. But as soon as we get a date for it, we'll put it out on Facebook so you get a couple days heads up on it because some of them it's going to come fast and furious as we get close to Christmas because it's like, what, 40 more days or something like that.
Don't stop.
So that being said, new fabric that also came in. Okay.
John's back. Hi, John.
So one of the things I decided to start doing or trying is everybody's like, you need more quilt kits, and we cut a lot of quilt kits, but a lot of the fabric companies are catching on to make pre-cut kits. So that's something. I mean, a lot of companies have been doing it, but a lot more just started doing it recently, about a year ago, and so I started ordering them. And they've started to come in now with the new fabric.
Nice.
So, like, this is a great example. This is the William Morris from Free Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
I got 2 bolts of fabric to complement this. We don't have the collection, but we have the kit and a couple coordinates
Oh, nice.
to do the backing for it.
Sweet.
So we have a bunch of these in. So we've got a bunch of kits that came, or a couple good kits that came in. So this came in.
And it's nice. It's blues, which is nice.
Yeah.
Some people really
But and
are looking for a blue.
and what's nice about it from a shop standpoint is I love, like, this is a beautiful quilt.
It is.
In the past, for me to get this quilt in here, I had to buy a bolt of everything on here.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets very expensive, so I can't carry as many different quilts because I can only buy the fabric for a certain amount. So this one, like I said, we didn't get a lot of the fabric, but we have the
We
kits.
get the kits, which,
Yes.
frankly, I love a good kit.
Yes.
So.
And it's all
But
there.
I know you all don't, but a lot of us do. So we're trying to make life easy.
And
for
here's
everybody.
another one that came in.
You have to open that.
I will.
That one says, "Open me."
And this is a Moda kit. Now, Moda is famous for their kits. Like, if I see one of their patterns and I'm like, oh, I'm going to buy the fabric to do that, they've got like a bazillion SKUs in them.
Yeah.
So when Moda started doing pre-cut kits, I'm like, that's where I'm going with it. And so you can just see, this is one of those to really get an
It
idea.
includes the pattern and all the
Yep,
fabric.
all the fabric. But
The beautiful fabric.
what you run into, I'm going to actually pop this one open, I
Okay.
think, so you can kind of see it. What you run into with Moda is the reason it's hard to make Moda kits
This
if
is
you're
a
buying the fabric.
This is a 70 by 80 quilt,
Yes.
by the way.
Look at all of the SKUs in here that
Yeah.
I would have had to buy as a shop, which isn't a bad thing, but the problem is some of these would be sitting on the shelf forever.
Right.
So when I saw this kit, I'm like, we got to get that because we can get the kit. So you can buy this and get all of this fancy
Yeah, it
fabric.
uses 6 fat quarters,
Yeah.
11 fat eighths. So that's why this is a nice one to
Yeah.
come as a kit, because just picking that stuff out
Yeah,
takes
it's just
me
a ton
day.
of fabric.
Yeah.
And what
So
we
this
did,
is beautiful.
and
I
because
love the colors on this.
and
Very nice.
because I really like that kit, I'm like, you know what? Check this out. I haven't even opened these. These came yesterday and I hadn't have a chance.
It's all right.
So this
I
one
like
here-
seeing you open.
This is an extra wide back that goes with the Moda Dwell.
Oh, so pretty.
And I couldn't decide because I had 2 of them. And I'm like, which one do I want to get? They're both gorgeous. So you've got this one and the other one that also came in an extra wide is a little bit more color.
You know, that's yelling matching pillowcases.
Yep. And this one again, this is that same collection. It's got a really nice
Just
scale to it. It's extra wide.
Absolutely beautiful.
So these came in. These are the only coordinates I got to go with the Dwell because I believe there's plenty in the kit and the backs are fantastic.
Brenda said, I'm just going to buy 3 yards of this one and 3 yards of that one, sandwich them together and quilt them edge to edge, or just quilt them and call it a day. And I don't blame her. That's a very pretty quilt right there.
Oh, I didn't grab the other one. And this is one of the coordinates that came in for the Free Spirit Willie Moore. Like I said, I got
Yeah.
I got another bolt, but we just got 2 bolts so that if you wanted to get a coordinating back, we could do some backs, or if you just like them,
Yeah.
they're really pretty. But
It's very pretty.
But it's from that collection.
Yeah. I love the colors.
Now Better Tex, we always do a lot. Better Tex does a nice job with kits because they don't have a bazillion SKUs in them. And here's the magic of digital printing, and I'm going to show you something that I'm not sure how I feel about it. So this is another kit. We have all the fabric to make it. These I actually have to cut up. But they do pre-printed panels now for samples. And I don't know how I feel about it. Because this...
What do you mean? That you have to then buy this?
This is a
and
kit.
that? Oh,
This is
sorry,
gonna-
there's
yeah,
a belly right
yeah.
there. I thought I had a ways to go.
There's the kit we have is going to look just like this. We have all the fabric to make a quilt that looks like this pre-printed panel. And I can't decide how I feel about the fact that they pre-print the panel.
So what are we supposed to do? Cut it up, put it together,
Well,
and have
no,
you quilt
this
it?
is the individual fabric.
Oh, it expects to have white sashing?
White sashing, yeah.
Oh, see, I didn't even get that.
Yes,
Well, that
and then you cut it,
saves labor, I guess.
and then you cut it up, and this is the fabric that goes with it.
Okay, you know what you have to do if you do that?
It's hanging far away so nobody can see that it's not pieced.
You have to stitch in the ditch. Oh, well, it's no ditch, but you have to stitch.
Yeah, I know. That's the problem with it.
If you absolutely have to stitch where it should be a ditch. Otherwise,
Well, I know it's just.
it's even fake binding.
Yeah, the whole thing is just.
and that's
I don't.
Oh, you know what? Some people might love that.
But you
Some
can't-
people
but-
might buy that and go done.
But I can't buy this. This is only.
What do y'all think out there? That's different,
This is only
right?
available to the shops. I can't get multiples of these. This is the only one I get.
Yeah, they're loving the blue. I knew it.
But anyway, Christine, if you're watching, I have a project for you. I would love to see what you would do with this.
She doesn't want to put her effort into a
She would make.
printed
I,
panel.
she would make it
No.
look awesome. She would make it look
Christina,
awesome.
he doesn't understand
She would
the
make. All I'm
artist
saying.
in you.
And here's the backing that goes with that.
She does not want to do that.
I'm just saying. I would love to see what she would do with it.
You might want it for practice.
She doesn't.
Okay.
She's beyond that.
And then there's this here. That's the back that goes to that pink quilt.
Goes to what quilt?
The panel quilt.
What? Oh, I guess, yeah. Ferns, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't have to use it for that, but that's
No,
what I came in
okay.
with.
Yeah.
So
Pretty
that's
stuff. Pretty.
that all just came in yesterday.
What's that? You didn't show that off.
Oh, yeah,
Don't
that's another
slip.
one.
Don't slip on the plastic bags, Brent.
I know.
Yet. Wait till the show's
Wait till
over.
the show's over?
Then you break
Well,
your
no, we
ankle.
could do it because then we get really good ratings because, watching somebody fall and crack
Oh,
their head.
people love do
Yeah,
like
you know.
gore. Yeah.
I mean, if you get smacked in the
That's
nuts, then you
pretty
win America's Funniest Home Videos.
Kaya disagrees. She thinks Christine should quilt the panel.
I would be curious to see what she does with it.
Okay, well,
Because if I quilt it, it's not going to do anything for it. It's going to be like,
yeah.
Because-
Jean wants to know how many panels did you get. She wants to just buy the panel.
They
display.
only give me one panel, which is, but like I said, as a shop, I'm kind of torn about it because
I'm
it's
torn
kind of,
too.
because if you were to quilt that up and throw it on the wall, it's kind of like, yeah, you can go through all the work to piece it, but you could also just have it printed and get the same thing.
Yeah,
it's
I
very.
don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
But anyway,
Yeah, I don't know.
but the kits are available online right now. The yardage I don't think I've got up yet, but if you are interested, kits are limited because I buy a fixed number. Usually we have 8 to 10. Now, you don't go too crazy with it, and if a lot more people start to buy them, I'll start ordering more. But if you liked what you saw, order it up. It's available at fourpinesquilting.com, or give me a call.
Oh, yeah. Or
Call or stop in. We like to see you.
I love to see you. And speaking of which, I see you're on Bev. I've been dying to find out if you were successful with your quilting on your placemats. So give me a shout out because I've been wondering.
Yes.
I really have. I'm hoping the answer is yes, but I need to know. It's killing me.
Okay. All right. So that's all I've got for shop news.
Okay.
So where's the?
We're ready for a quiz.
Quiz
now.
time, yes,
Yeah,
quiz.
we're ready for a quiz.
Do we have a drawing this week?
No, we do not have a drawing this
Oh.
week. We have a quizzle based on last week's show.
A quizzle?
A quizzle.
A quizzle?
A quizzle, yes. We talked about timing a lot last week.
Probably more than we should have.
A lot.
Yes.
There was one thing you said, though, that I did not remember at all. So let's see if you folks were listening. Brent reminded us that when you're looking at the timing on your machine, your needle needs to be in a certain position. What position does our needle have to be in for us to accurately see if our timing is on or off? Eddie's watching out for me. Danny is not.
No, my work.
What position? On the position. Not quite, Kaya. Left! Jean got it! Left!
Yes!
Yes! Jean's got it! Jean got it. To the left, to the left, to the left, left, left.
Everything you own in a box to the left.
To the left,
Millimeters.
What's
to
that?
the left.
Even put 3 millimeters.
From the bottom of the
Oh, this is
stroke.
true. This
Jean
is true, but I
yeah.
said needle position. Okay, the answer was left, sorry. That's the answer.
Yes, but tell you what.
To the left.
What do you got?
In my notes, Jean, I love that she takes notes.
I think those are all good answers, though.
Oh my God, here he goes.
So I think Jean, Kaya, Jean, and we'll throw Bev in there too because they all got the answer.
What about John?
Well, John and Jean.
There. Are you
Yes.
guys in the same room right now?
Probably.
We will do $10 GC for everybody.
Oh my
that
God,
came in.
he's so bad. He's so bad. I gotta have harder quizzes. These guys are actually listening.
I know.
Ooh, I love it. I did not remember that from the last time we talked about time.
It's one of those things that it's very interesting because you could time it to the center or even to the right. The problem is if you move
It's
your needle
different.
if you move your needle to the left,
Yeah.
you will get interesting results.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Yes.
So, congratulations. Woo,
All
woo.
right, so does that bring us
Boop,
back
boop,
to?
boop, boop.
Oh, I forgot quilt of the week again.
Oh my gosh. Well, I have a turbo tip.
You have turbo tip?
It's kind of a lame turbo tip,
Okay.
but I was surprised how many people don't do it. So when I say lame, I say lame. Yeah, I'll know I like to not just wet things. I like to add a little something, something. If I'm going to wet it, I'm going to give it some stiffening agent at the same time. Make it worth my while. Get out the iron. So when I got
Danny, you're missing all this.
I got these little seams. By the way, thank you, Brent, for getting those nice rounded wool bars for the classroom
Yes, the
because we have
clappers.
been using.
Yes.
No, they're not the clappers. They're the wool.
Yeah, but it's like a clapper, isn't it? No,
No,
the clapper's
it's a
the other
totally
thing.
different
Yes,
tool.
you're right.
Oh my God, squirt, squirt.
What?
Totally different tool. But anyway, now this happens to
Yeah,
be
we
a
can do
small bottle that was best press because I got gifted a little 5 assorted pack, which I like. But you can also, and I save these. Why do I save these small bottles, you wonder? To refill them, because when I'm doing just a seam, I want to just do the seam. Zit, 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 zit. And then if I'm not wasting a whole bunch, I'm just going zit, 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 zit. Nice flat seam. You can also use the cosmetic spray bottles you see in the
Yes.
you know, the beauty section, how you can buy those empty spray bottles. That works too. My tip is use a little spray bottle when you have a little something.
Those little spray bottles are awesome.
I use a big something when I need a big stitch starch sweater. And when I just need
if you really need it stiff, use
when
a
I
big one.
when I need to zero in. I need to zero in.
That's what she
And
said.
I'll tell you what, I never not squirt my seams.
I never
That's what she said.
So, could it be starch she's using? John's getting dirty. What's getting dirty, John? John's iron's been getting dirty. Well, I would suggest that John's iron needs to be
No,
replaced
that was
with a
perfect.
different iron that has a sole plate that nothing sticks on. But yes, starch can cause your iron to get dirty.
And as a quick tip,
Especially if you're ironing wet, Jonathan.
and a quick tip on that is to clean a dirty iron is a dryer sheet. Works really good.
Yes, just rub when it's not warm, people. When
Yes.
it's cooled off,
Yeah.
dryer sheet does wonders.
Yes.
But I'm also thinking if you invested in one of those fancy cricket irons, that problem would
Yeah.
disappear.
Well, a
Just
heat
saying.
press. Yes.
Just
Are
saying.
you affiliated with them yet? Are you getting a share every time you say their name?
All right. That's all I got. I was just
Christmas gift. Yes, yes.
I just had a our producer gave me a quilt that is a perfect quilt of the week, and I like it, and it is Susan.
Not sure what Bev's talking about. Also,
So
you
this is
left
just
it.
this is just kind of a fun. This is a great quilt. If I hold
It's pretty.
and I'm looking at the screen, so I'm doing everything backwards. So it's just a real simple piece.
It's very pretty.
And I believe
Oh, it's a
Yeah, it's a
heart.
heart. So it's got a jelly roll. I think I used a jelly
pretty.
roll for it, maybe. But you can see it's just a kind of a simple. I don't want to say simple. It's really nice. It's got a nice
pretty.
scrap look to it.
Mm-hmm.
But she did a great job with it. I really think it's fun.
What's cool is they're all the same size. Oh, a few are not the same size.
Yeah.
But most of them are all the same size rectangle.
Yeah. And I
That's-
can imagine the layout was a bear putting this together. To give
Just a
them.
few are a little different over here, and I don't know why,
Yeah.
but
And then she
mostly
did.
they're the same.
And then she put the cuddle on the back, and it's going to her granddaughter. I believe it's her granddaughter who likes ballet, so we put ballet slippers on there.
Oh, she's going to
Or Eddie
love
put
that.
ballet slippers. Cause,
Yeah,
you know,
Eddie's like, excuse me, who put the slippers on there?
Eddie's like, it was me.
It was me. It
Okay,
was me.
so yes, that's Susan. So
Sue, congrats. Nice job. Nice job.
I love how like we make it look all pretty back here, and then you guys let me in here and I make a mess of it.
Bev, I do spray with Best Press and let my fabric dry. Not when I'm doing my little seams, though. What I just showed you is squirting a little seam and then pressing. That fabric has already been pre-treated with either Best Press or starch-like stuff. But yes, even when I'm treating with Best Press, I let it dry first. And it comes out great. It's all about not evaporating the product.
You gotta
Let
let
it
it set in.
sink into
Yep.
the material. So yes, Beth, I let best press dry. Dun, 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 dun.
All right.
We doing workbench? I'm
We'll do
going to
it.
switch so you can have this.
Okay,
Okay.
we'll do workbench real quick. This is
I'll
gonna
go
be
over here.
this is gonna be quick.
Where all the
Only 'cause-
plastic trash is. Put me in the trash, Brent.
Only because I had somebody sent me an email about this, and I was like, "Well, tell you what, watch our thing, and I'll show you how to what you got to do." One of the things that you'll run into, and I'm going to put this kind of. I was trying to prep this so that I'm not taking all day like we did last week and ruin Becky's plans.
I'm not putting up with it.
So-
Eddie said I went first today. Eddie.
So what you will sometimes run into is when you put your hoop in, it'll be super hard. See, that one slid right in. But in some cases, when you put the hoop in, it's really hard, and if it's attached to the machine, it will actually push this, or when you pull it out, it will actually pull this. That's not a good thing. And so I had somebody contact me. I was like, "Well, how do I fix this?" And it's a fairly easy fix.
Don't you ask first, is it every frame or only one frame?
That's a very good question. Every frame or only one frame? Because if it's every frame, then we make this adjustment. If it's one frame, you can make this adjustment to kind of be in the middle ground if you want. But you have to keep in mind, if we adjust this too much, what'll happen is if we make this super easy in and out, it will make this a little bit looser, and you'll get some wobble and slop in your designs. So there's two ways to fix this. The first thing you can do is if it's every frame, I'm going to show you how to fix this. If it's one frame, and it's only one frame, there's two places that create a lot of friction. You've got a rail on the bottom here. This right here, what I would try first is get a little bit of grease, like a Vaseline would probably work, or just a little bit of some sort of lubricant, and lube these two little rails here and see if that helps. Because those sit right inside, there's a rail in here. And so if you put a little grease on there and then it slides in and out a lot easier, then you know that your problem is here. And then after that, you could put a little bit of lubrication on top here. Like I said, a grease of some sort, nothing fancy, like a silicone grease, or even, like I said, a little bit of Vaseline petroleum jelly works fine. And that'll slide right in. If you find that works, you could take a emery cloth and just sand this down a little bit. Just rub this down just a hair so that it's got a better clearance. You can do it I would recommend try it on the bottom first to see if it helps. If not, use some real fine sandpaper and take a little bit off the top here, because these are going to be your 2 points of friction that create the firm, that keep it in there nice and tight. That's if it's just one hoop. The best thing to do is slightly modify the hoop. Like I said, try some lube first, and then if that doesn't work, just take a little bit of sandpaper, take just a little bit off the top of that, and maybe a little bit off of here. I'd start on the bottom just because I don't want to see the top all scratchy, because that's how I am, and I never look down here. And this is a smaller surface area, so it'll sand quicker. But you don't need to do much, just a little bit, and then after you do a little bit, put it in and test it. That's if it's one hoop. The other thing, if it's all hoops, it's or you want to just kind of do the happy medium, because once you sand, you can't put the stuff back on. That's the problem with this technique. Once you do it, you're stuck with it. The other thing is to actually fix the arm. And to fix the arm, first you got to pop this off. It's different on a Luminaire and a Dream machine how you get this apart. Pretty straight. There's a couple extra screws. You're going to take a screw out of the bottom here. So this is on there. There's a screw hole right here. Pops that out. And on the back end over here, on this end, is another screw. And this screw you just have to loosen. And then once that screw's loosened, this lifts up and slides out. And that's all there is to get the top off. Then after you take that off, there's normally a screw right there that I've already taken out to make my life easier, to be quick about this. And then this comes right off. Because what you really want to do is get that off. Now the magic begins. So if you look in here, all of your problems are caused by these two springs right here. That spring and that spring. Because if you watch what happens when I put this guy in, you'll see there's a little groove down here that the bottom of the hoop rides in. So that gets put in here, goes in the groove, and then if you'll notice, these springs here, these two springs are what create tension. And right now, this is kind of loose because I was already playing with this. Now, if it's too tight, what you do, and I'm going to make this super loose, is you just can reach in here with a pair of pliers, or I would use my fingers, and you just squeeze and flatten those springs a little bit.
Oh, that's so technical.
There's a lot. And so now you see how that, I don't know, you can't really see how easy this slides in now. It's super easy. Like this is too easy. And then you know it's too easy if when it's in, you can wiggle it a little bit. So, if you overdo it, see, this is why I recommend this versus sanding, because you can fix it. If you overdo it, the easy fix is to take your screwdriver, and if you look closely, there's a screw right here that holds the spring in, and another screw over here that holds the spring in. So you put your screwdriver near the screw, and just kind of twist, and it will...
I see a lot of broken springs in our future. That's what I see. I see you're just trying to get machines in here for repair.
No, these springs are actually fairly cheap. And so you just twist that a little bit to bring that spring down. I don't know if I brought it down enough. But I'm just going to put that in there and twist a little bit to bring my spring down a little bit. And then what you'll notice is, now that was a lot better. Now, if you see, there is a little bit of a wiggle, but when I look at this whole unit here is wiggling. It's not just the hoop, which means that it's sitting in there properly. So, if you pinch these springs down too much, you can easily just, like I said, put your screwdriver in here and just twist a little bit to make that spring come down a little bit. And do this when your arm is not on the machine, because you'll be able to move this fairly easily, and you don't have to worry about messing up your machine. And then I'm going to put that back in. Yeah, see, that's a lot better.
So it's all just mechanical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just it's a very mechanical adjustment. There's nothing you have to do on the machine, and it's those springs right in there. So if you are running into this, just pop this off. Like I said, there's a screw here. There's just that one screw there. The screw off this end, and then just slides off. And I think there's a video that I got into this a little bit deeper at one point, but I just wanted to show people that real quick. And
I can't imagine we needed to go deeper, Brent.
Well, it was a little bit more.
At some point, we get ourselves in trouble if we go too far.
And then, like I said, you could, if it's if it's only one hoop, you could sand that a little bit, and that might solve. And if you do sand it, use an emery cloth, or even like a nail file, emery board.
I use a fine 3M block.
Yes.
Those sponge blocks.
Yeah.
It also cleans up your stuff really nicely too.
Yeah.
And takes off just a tiny.
And then the worst case scenario.
You bring it in.
And we can sort it, because if you do take too much off with the sandpaper, we can then go through and fix the springs if you have to.
Or sell you a new frame.
Yeah.
You know what I've noticed on my frames is my dime hoops fit tighter than my brother hoops.
And I was just going to say, what you will notice...
You look at the wear and... Becky,
what you will notice on aftermarket hoops, some of them might be a little tighter because the tolerances are a little different.
Yeah.
But... can you zoom in on this, Eddie?
And that's why I tell people, hold the back of this and hold the front of this.
And I've explained this before, but I'm just going to cover it real quick while we're here.
See where it's wearing.
If you do end up sanding this top ridge a little bit, or the bottom, that's fine to make it slide a little better. Do not mess with these nubs. Those nubs are the important thing that tell the machine what size hoop you have. So don't go around sanding nubs off, because that will throw that off.
This one. No, this one doesn't seem to be sanded. Some of mine are sanded.
Yeah, and I find this issue to happen more with like the aftermarket hoops.
Yes.
Just because the tolerances aren't quite as tight. And just a little bit.
They're tighter when you go in. At least mine are. The green
production
ones.
Tolerances, yeah.
And so I'm really gotten used to making sure that doesn't move.
Yeah, and a little bit, like I said, and what you'll find is you're not going to want to adjust all of your arm for this one hoop. So you're better off a little bit of sandpaper there, maybe a little bit on the bottom, and calling it good.
Calling it a day. We're going to be using that.
And you do a little at a time. Don't go crazy with a Dremel tool.
I didn't even think of that. I have a very fine 3M block.
Yes, you are very fine.
So I do it until like this grunge is off.
Yeah.
And then I'll put it back in and see.
Yeah.
And then I'll sometimes I wait a couple days and let it get grungy again.
Yeah.
So I can tell how little I'm taking off.
Yeah, but don't go.
I guess I could just write on it and take off the writing.
Yeah, but don't
it's
go.
It's just a little micro.
Just a little bit, yeah, a little bit at a time. And like I said, do not do any electronically aided sanding devices because you'll probably take too much off.
Yeah.
But that's how you fix that. So if you're
By
watching,
the way, I forgot. Here's a tip for you too. You see this little arrow? Those of you on the dime hoops, I arrowed the top left-hand corner where the finger nub is, because they don't ever tell you where that is, and if they're not on all sides.
oh yeah,
So I actually marked. This is where you grab it, Becky. Don't forget. This is where
There
you
you grab
bracket.
it.
This is.
oh your nails look fantastic.
Oh, stop. These are all the top right. They're strawberry margarita today.
Strawberry margarita.
Strawberry margarita.
You ever go up to Gusano's up in Lab?
Do I what?
Go to Gusano's, the Mexican restaurant up in Lab.
No, my husband won't eat anything, but he won't.
Well,
eat
I'm just saying,
Mexican.
if you get their
I
margarita,
have to find a friend who will eat Mexican. With me.
my wife always gets the margarita. They have like this tray of like 8 margaritas that you can get, like
Oh,
little
a
sampler,
sampling.
yeah, like a little
Oh.
sampler.
And you don't drink, so she drinks all those herself.
Mm-hmm. And then she's a lot of fun on the ride home because you're live driving back to the Unity.
Man, if
Oh
I
my gosh. You
And then about the
I
time,
wonder
and
if
about
I-
the time you get off the interstate in Grantham,
she-
she's sleeping.
well, then you got to stop on the way, don't you, honey? You got to take a pit stop on the way home.
I drive as fast as I can. I never make it.
No, that's what I mean, and I have to teach you. Just stop halfway.
I was thinking maybe I should learn how to mix margaritas at home.
It's not the same.
I know.
It doesn't work like that. See, ambiance of the wilderness.
Is that why you bring your shampoo when you go to the restaurant?
All right, so here we go.
I hope she's
again,
not
Brent.
watching this because I will be in trouble for this
No,
conversation.
you won't.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it.
yeah, but she doesn't because she's a lady, is what she'll say.
We only want to be a lady sometimes, okay? Let's be honest. Sometimes we like to be ravished. Okay, enough of all that. I want to talk about sashing boarding sashers.
Borders?
Yes, and this
boarding
isn't just
sashers?
about Luminaire 3s. This update was the first one came out with Luminaire 1, and I might even be on the Dream Machine. Then they improved it with the update to a Luminaire 2.
Yes.
And it's on the Luminaire 3 as well, as they're getting into more quilting. I don't know how many of you have noticed that they are advertising this thing as a quilting machine.
Yep.
It is taken over.
I had seen the sashing done on the Luminaire release because that was one of the few times I went to the Brothers' big corporate thing.
To do.
Yeah, the
Yeah?
big to do. And it was kind of fun.
Yeah.
And it was interesting. I watched them do it and I did it, but it was I want to say it was clunky, but it wasn't as intuitive as it could be. So it's nice to see that with
Not only was it clunky, but it doesn't really work.
Yeah, that's why I never really.
So.
It was one of those sales gimmicks I always thought. It's like, it has it, but nobody's going to use it, but we can put it in the sales literature.
Yes. Well, I'm very happy to report
that they've made
that
it useful.
the new sashing, which you don't have to have a sashing hoop to use it. In fact, today you'll notice I did not bring my fancy JT sashing hoop because I'm taking a lot of grief about selling hoops. But if you come in and you try it, and Becky gets you to buy it in a class, 10% off.
Yes.
If it's in stock.
Yes.
Did I just tell the whole world about that? I did.
Well, that makes it. You almost get more off of a hoop than what you
It
pay
makes
for
the
the
class free. That's how I look at it, baby. Look
Yeah.
what I do for you guys. Okay.
But you have to keep in mind,
So-
I mean, they're charging, lots of money for the machines, and the hoops are also a lot because they're like, oh, we suckered you into spending the price of a used car on a machine. So
yeah, but it's the right tool
So a
for
set
the
of tires
right
is-
thing. Yes, exactly, Gene. My husband gives me enough grief. Okay, yes. So anyway, I started to tell you we did this pillow class. Oh, Becky put it like this. Thank you, Ed. Where we. You gonna talk about my butt reindeer again?
No, I was just reading
Okay.
through the comments,
Okay.
and then Gene's like, "Do you mean dry?" He always uses it dry.
All right. Anyway, Brent's still on the Margaritaville train.
You started it with.
So we quilted it. First we embroidered it, then we quilted it with a nice echo stitch, and then the next session we were supposed to quilt it with a sashing border. And and it was supposed to be really easy, and it wasn't really easy.
I gotta get a new camera up there. The color's off on that one.
It is off. And Jean, if you don't like this poinsettia, don't put it on. Just saying. So
Alright, what am I
we need to
putting?
go over here.
Oh, hold
And
on.
notice today, folks, because I knew Brent would be running the machine, and he's ruined one too many of my samples.
Oh my gosh.
I brought in a drawing with stabilizer.
Nice.
So you can't ruin my pillow.
Okay.
So what I've done on here is pretend this is my pillow.
All right. So this is your middle block of your pillow.
My middle block was 10 by 10.
This is your sashing.
That my sashing, and I'll show you how
It's
I came
3
up.
1/4.
Yep. And then 17 inches this
Nice.
way.
Okay.
Now when you look at that, that's not what this measures. I know this measures 10 inches. This is oversized. I've actually drawn lines where I want my cuts to be. Can you see that?
But I think it's important that yes, you oversize
It
things
is oversized.
so that you've got a little bit of room to work
To
with.
hoop it.
Yes.
So it is oversized. And I've drawn, for visualization, I've drawn where I'm going to cut this pillow when I'm done.
Okay.
I also know that, so when I measure here to here, that's the distance I'm telling you is important to me. From here, from this top line that I drew
Yeah.
and this drawn line. When I'm done, I want an 18-inch square.
Yeah. Okay.
But I don't want my quilting to be lost in my binding.
That it's gonna get trimmed off or covered with binding. Yep. Okay.
So I took my 18 inches and I subtracted a half inch up here and a half inch down here, and that's how I got 17 inches. And it's a square pillow, so this is 17 inches.
Okay.
The other thing I knew is I didn't want my sashing to go from here to here.
You're gonna want a little bit of space.
I
between
want,
them.
because I got binding and this and that, so I wanted to come in on each dimension. I think it was 4 inches. You'll notice I took 3/4 off
Yeah.
because I want to come half an inch away from
that edge.
that edge and a 1/4 inch away from my inside edge.
Yeah. And that extra 1/4 inch on the outside edge gives you for the binding.
For the binding.
Because you've already taken your seam allowance out of the inside edge.
Thank you. Yes,
Okay.
that's what I was trying to say.
Okay. No.
So that's how I came up
making
with
sure
these.
I follow the logic.
Yep, and these are the 3 measurements I'm going to need when we go to build our sashing. So we're going to go into embroidery. This is not Design Center. This is embroidery. And on the cue for quilting, look at that new edge to edge in there too, people. Woohoo! There are a couple different sashings, 1, 2, and 3. One is, we're going to use one that's simple now, but if you want to click on 2, just show them some of the options. There's 2. 2, you'll see the rounded corners, and the way it's connected is much different than 1. It's just different designs. Oh,
Yeah.
no, 2 is multicolor. 2 has more
Yes.
than one color in it. So if you're going to pick a category from 2, it's going to do it in 2 swipes because they have 2 to 3 colors in those borders.
Okay. So.
That's the big difference between 1 and 2.
Okay. And then.
3, we're getting into angles.
Yes.
So we're going back to 1 today.
How big will this do?
I'm going to show you, pumpkin. Go
Well,
back
no,
to 1.
because I'm looking at this and
It depends on...
I'm thinking of a tree skirt.
Yeah, it depends on a lot of things.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to show you.
Okay.
Let's pick a really fast one for today. So number 7 is a quick sew out.
Okay.
I'm just looking for a quick sew out one for today's example. Isn't that pretty?
Yeah.
Okay. Now here's the next
on a
screen
second.
that is ultra important. Hit set because that's the one we want to do.
Set.
Set. All right. This is what blew my class. That first icon is
Yeah.
not the one you want to choose.
This one here.
And I say ever, like never choose it. I actually contacted Brother for an explanation on what it was doing. Well, that's if you're doing small quilt blocks and you want the same little border around every single quilt block in your quilt. And I said, but it doesn't calculate properly. Well, are you using it for individual quilt blocks? my answer would be, yeah.
Yeah, because you've got to, yeah.
No, it does not calculate properly. Don't use it. And you know I'm a fan of Brother.
Yeah.
But they have got work to do on that.
Yes.
Stay away from it. Go to the second one.
Okay.
This one I can tell you works. Now the first thing the first thing I'm going to set is what hoop I'm using.
Okay.
Why? Because it's going to determine how big or how small I can go.
And so this is going to be it right here.
We're going to do 10 by 10 because that's what I brought.
Okay. The 10 and 5/8
No,
by 10.
10 by 10.
Oh, the 10 by 10? Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm going
okay.
with,
Yep.
okay? If you had a much smaller hoop, you're going to see it recalculates your see how it will go to 118 right now?
Yeah. Oh, I see. So if I
See
change...
what I'm saying?
Um,
Well, it won't calculate everything yet till we set it. But
okay. But
you'll
you're
see
talking...
it.
These numbers up here
they
will change. Okay.
They absolutely change depending on the hoop you've chosen.
Okay.
If you choose a 5 by 7, it's going to go, well, nobody's going to want to keep hooping that thing, are they? No, we aren't. So the next thing you see, number 1, is it wants to know that measurement that I figured out, not end to end on my pillow. It wants to know edge to edge what my sashing's going to be.
So the 17.
The 17.
That's going to be the full width of your sashing.
Yes.
Okay.
That 17 goes in there. And if you don't hit set, it doesn't save it. That's another irritating whoopsie. Okay, so now number 2 is how high. How high is our thing? Well, ours is a square.
So it's 17 again.
But if it wasn't a square, if it was a placemat,
You could
whatever it is, but you have to figure out what you want your sashing to measure first.
Yeah. Okay. So this is going to be the overall edge to edge of the sashing itself.
Yes.
The outside edge of the sashing is going to be 17 inches left and right. Outside, top and bottom is going to be 17 inches.
Correct.
Okay.
So we set. Now the next thing it wants to know, and this is confusing to a lot of people because it's got those 2 little arrows on the corner.
Yep.
It's basically how wide is your sashing. That fancy question is, how wide is my sashing going to be? That will determine how big it makes these corners.
Yes, and so that measurement, if you look at it, should be the same because your sashing is going to be the same width.
In my case, it's 3 1/4.
3 1/4. Okay.
Everybody get where those measurements come from? I'm going to say yes.
Yes.
So now this is the beauty, because this, when we teach the new quilting stuff, it's very similar to this. It is now going to calculate.
So I'm just going to hit.
You're just going to hit next.
I'm going to hit next.
Now what it did is it said, in this case, I'm going to have 12 pieces. Don't hit anything
I know,
yet.
just
Oh,
pointing.
okay, sorry. Look, I'm ready to say, doo! It's going to have 12 pieces because it's doing the corners, 4 corners.
Yeah.
Because look, they're a different design. And then it's doing the middle pieces.
Yes.
Okay?
And so there's probably multiple middle pieces.
Multiple middle
That's
pieces.
how you get 12.
And because I didn't use a big frame,
Yep.
it's going to say, well, she's only got a 10 by 10. So we're going to have
So-
to make this work with a 10 by 10.
So this number here would change based on your frame size.
It certainly would.
Okay.
If I had stuck in my 16-incher, I would get much different
Okay.
results.
Okay.
So it depends on the frame you have. The good news is it works for all the frames.
Yep.
So now reason we're putting it in memory right now is because it's going to save it in embroidery data so we can retrieve it. Now look at that. I had done one earlier today, but you see that? Now, yes, I want you to see what it says. It tells me this is 17 by 17 and it has 12 pieces
yep.
to it. So go ahead and choose that.
This one here?
Yep. This is what I love. I can follow through and do the whole thing and listen to the instructions it gives me on where to hoop it and how to connect it. But I also can collect the pieces and do them individually.
So this is going to be your corner.
Corner.
Then that's your...
Yeah, and if
Okay.
I say, oh gosh, I could have used a bigger hoop, I can throw 2 of those together.
Okay.
So I have and let's say something happens and you have to go fix one part of your border, you can come and pick up one of those to do it. But for today's demo, we're going to show you how easy it is to let the machine do all the work.
All right.
So you're going to pick the big guy.
This one here?
Yep. This is the hold my hand version.
Okay.
And if you ever got stuck and you had to go back backwards in the hold my hand version, you really have to come out and then walk through the steps.
And just skip your stitch forward.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, walk through the steps.
Yeah, that's
and
what.
then,
Yeah. Okay.
So now it's telling you how to hoop your fabric.
Okay, so we want to hoop it in the upper right corner of the fabric.
Yeah. How cool is that? So it's telling you you're going to do the upper right hand first.
Yeah. So
right?
you're just going to throw.
So I'm just going to throw that. This is my upper right hand corner.
Yeah.
I know that's what it's looking at, right?
Yeah.
So we're just going to throw it in. Throw it in, Becky. I'm not seeing my hoop through this stabilizer, so that's a
I was
pain
going
in
to
the
say,
butt
I
in
was going to wait for that thing to snap down on you because I can't imagine that stabilizer is going to keep those.
It will
magnets.
keep it nice and tight, that's for sure,
Yeah,
huh?
but I'm worried about your fingers.
And I still didn't catch it. But that's
You
okay.
had a camera on your face.
Okay, you're just going to have to grin and bear with me because I'm not going to lose a finger over this. It's probably tear away too.
It's all right. We're good. Is
I
that?
would not consider this a good hooping, just so you know.
I understand that, but do you want me to hoop it real quick?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't want a fingernail to go flying out in the audience. Whew.
We got a file.
Yes, we do.
How
That's good.
Is that
That's
acceptable?
Good. That's
Okay.
very acceptable.
Okay.
Thank you. Now you can slide this on. Sorry for the stabilizer, but I don't want you ruining my pillow.
Oh, that's fine. I think the stabilizer is nice too because you got all those measurements in there so people can visualize
can
it.
visualize. Plus, if you want to test something out, this is a real easy way to test your theory too. You know, little stabilizer. Okay, so that's all that screen is for, is instructions.
And we just put it in the upper right, so we're
you
gonna hit
just
OK.
say okay.
It's gonna move. I'm gonna hit OK.
Because now it's registering the frame.
Move the pattern keys to adjust the inside corner of the pattern. Okay.
Okay, so you say okay.
I'm gonna do
it's
that.
basically telling you what you need to do next. Okay, now this I want you to pay attention to. It has already, I love this, it has already anchored the move to that inside corner.
Yep.
Because it's determined that for this hooping, that's the most important thing.
Yes.
So I want you to use your move keys.
Yep.
And I want you to move this
Can
so
you-
it lines up with this.
Yeah. So we're gonna move this here.
Yep.
This is the projector. We're gonna line that up
With this corner.
With this corner up here. Okay.
Yep. That's all we're doing right now.
All right. And, can you see that?
Did you see how the projector automatically
come-
moved with your anchor point?
Yeah.
You know how sometimes we have to move the projector because we're losing our anchor point? With that anchor point highlighted on that screen. Now, I can choose to highlight a different point.
You can kind of see it on there.
Okay, well, the next step gets really cool anyway, so. Can you
Yeah.
see that? There it is.
So you can see that that our projector here is lined up with our green line
The
here.
line I drew to
Yep.
say this is where I want my corner to
Okay.
be. So you go, okay, I did that. So you're just going to say, okay. Whoops. Whoops. Camera? Ed?
He's moving it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ed.
You just want everybody motion set.
No,
Okay.
I can't stand motion. All right.
Okay.
So
So.
see, this anchor point tells me that's where I'm concentrating.
Yep. So I'm gonna hit OK,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it. I don't have to fix my.
Well, I would suggest that you need to check more points.
Yes. That's,
If I just say okay now, I don't know if I was okay up here and down here.
yeah. That's what I was wondering. So did I screw up?
Okay.
Do I gotta go back?
You can go into layout at this stage,
Okay.
and you can do rotation here. But I've now lost my camera.
Yes. So I screwed up and hit OK too fast.
No, I told you to hit okay
Okay.
because I wanted to. This is what was happening, and I wanted you to see what was
Yeah.
happening. I can still do some rotation and stuff here, but to me, it's a lot easier to do it from the other screen.
But well, now my other question though is if you do it from the screen though,
Mhm.
you're losing your rotation point, right? where it was anchored to this corner before.
No, that's what I want to show you.
Yeah, it's not going to anchor there. If I start
No,
moving
it
it
will
around
be anchored. That's what I want to show you.
from this screen.
No.
That's okay. That's what I'm saying. Enough. Okay.
So we need to come out of here
So I'm just going to hit.
and watch how you have to come out of here.
Do I go
Yeah. It really stinks.
Yeah.
But that's where people go, what's going on? So go right back into embroidery mode.
And then I come over here.
Yep.
Right.
Yep, he's still in there.
And this
there.
is the one we did,
Yep.
right? And
Yep.
we're going to hit.
Pick that part
Oh, that part
first.
one, yeah.
Yep. Now you can do each corner, and I told people in class, I tend to set all my corners in first.
Yeah, and then.
This is not going to. This is going to go clockwise around our sashing.
Okay.
When I'm doing it, I set my corners in first, and then I fit in the in-betweens.
Okay.
That's just what I do.
So again, we're just gonna.
You're going to move that point, and then then you're going to pick a different anchor point.
Okay, I'm gonna move our so we can watch the process this time.
Okay. You need to move the picture-in-picture, Ed.
Okay.
Thanks.
We're too far, but.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see where I'm just using the projector to bring that right where
Right
we
to
want
that
it.
corner. And in all honesty, that doesn't look like it needs a lot of rotation, but we want to check it. I do. It's a corner.
Yeah.
I want to
Okay.
check it.
So that's where we're at now.
Okay.
I'm gonna hit OK.
No,
No,
you're going to hit layout.
I'm in layout. Oh, I'm not in layout. Okay.
Now I still have my projector.
Yeah.
I still have everything I need,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But this is where I might have to move something down or readjust my anchors.
Yeah. I'm just gonna go back over here so people can see that screen.
And I'm going to show you the multiple points too.
All right. So we're back in layout, and from here we could rotate it.
You could, but instead, I want you to hit layout again.
Yeah.
Oh, shucks.
Did I go too far?
No. I should have chosen a different anchor point. Because what I want to see is what's going on up here. And
Oh, okay.
I forgot to have you change the anchor point.
Okay. So do I have to go back out and come back in?
Try rotate and see if I can get a different.
Yeah. Okay.
Good. Phew. See,
Oh,
this
because-
isn't your regular layout mode, is it?
No, it's not, because
Yeah.
if we hit OK, I see what we're going. Okay.
Yeah. See, now it's looking down. It's as an anchor point has this lower piece.
Yeah.
What I was interested in is that corner piece up
This
there.
corner piece up
Yep.
here.
So if you hit that, it's going to go up there.
And
See, this is so different than going outside to
Yes.
the regular layout. And what this is telling me is I'm right here.
Yeah, that red.
So I really want to be over here, right? And I'm not
Yeah.
exactly rotated properly. If I do this right now, according to the things I drew, my flower is going to hit
Yeah.
my free zone.
So I want.
So you want to do this finessing here, and you want to use those different anchor points to zero in on where you need to be. Whoa,
Oops.
you're wild and crazy.
I'm
What
going
did
the
you
wrong-
just
I
do?
was going the wrong direction. Now it's rotating off of that center point, right?
No,
What's it rotating off
the
of?
anchor point.
Oh, so I've got this all screwed up.
Yeah, I was wondering what you're doing.
Okay, so
That's the beauty on here
So if I go back
that
over
we don't
here,
have anywhere else.
so if I go to there,
Now you're looking at, see, we moved that just a little, but I want to fix this is more important to
how
me.
do you change your anchor point?
You click on it.
So like that?
Yeah, watch. Now you're up here. Okay, so move it this way.
So move it?
Move it. If you go back to layout,
Yeah.
move.
Yeah.
You can't do the move and rotate at the same time on here. The rotate's in one screen. But see how that allows you to choose?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't get there any other way.
So I'm just going to move it that way a
Yeah.
little bit?
Yeah, and see, I look at this and I go, oh, that's not rotated quite right there.
Yeah. Can you get a picture of that, Eddie?
But this is close enough for
Yeah.
us today.
So yeah, so we lined it up here, and
Mhm.
we're off a hair here, but we could rotate that if we wanted to.
We could.
Okay, but
We
we're just
could.
gonna hit OK.
We are, because I want to see, I want
Are
to
we
show them
good?
how to connect the next one.
But can I check my other
You
points?
can check any points you want, yes.
So that's gonna be that, and I'm gonna come back down to original anchor point. and we're
That we moved it over.
Yeah.
So we chose a different point and we moved it over. You can split the difference if you want. Truthfully, I would pick this over this.
okay.
Or you can resize it a tad.
Okay, but
Hit
we're
layout again and watch. It's phenomenal the amount of adjustments you have here.
okay. So what am I moving this time?
Do rotate. Can't remember. Yes. See these two right here?
Yeah.
That allows me to shrink something down or grow it larger.
Oh, so if we wanted
So
to,
if you really wanted to be fiddly diddly,
we could just bring that down a hair,
you could. And then move it over.
and then I'm gonna hit OK, and then move it that way just a hair.
I mean, I don't get that fiddly. But the
I
truth
can't.
is, you
I
can't.
can't believe that.
I don't. I'm going to put my corners in first, then I'm going to go filling in between. That's how I do it, but I'm just leading you through it.
Okay, so I like the way that looks now.
Okay, so now we're going to say okay.
I'm gonna say OK.
Yeah.
And then I'm just gonna hit
Go.
because it's
Now,
green.
we're not pulling up thread for this demo and all that good stuff. We're just going to let it stitch out. So this is stitching out, remember how it said 1 out of 12?
Yeah.
This is stitching out 1. Oh boy, is that slow. Might want to turn that up.
Wait.
It's slow.
It's almost done.
Well, I did pick a fast stitch out, but still.
I mean, we could turn it up, but
Next time, please turn it up. I want
Yeah.
to show them connecting from
Yeah.
here to here to there. We're going to run out of time again. And truthfully, I do it one by one. I set my corners in first, but you're going to see how easy it is not to. Okay to connect next pattern.
back to the screen, Eddie?
It literally is leading us through it.
And we're like, yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, it is what I want to do next.
So I'm going to hit OK.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's going to tell me to probably
It's going to bring up the next pattern, and guess what? It's going to tell us to rehoop the material. So basically this is telling me I want to see part of the one you just did, and I want to see where the next one's going to go.
Okay.
So go ahead. I'm letting you
You want me to just rehoop
move it. Yep.
All right.
I'm
We can
making
do
you
that.
work for a living.
I don't want to do too much of that. Make me work.
Why not?
So basically, we're just going to go up a little bit
Yeah.
like that.
Brent, if you're going to do it on the machine too, the next thing you could do is say okay and let the projector come on to help line it up before you anchor it down. That's another little
Oh, yeah, that's
time
true. Yeah.
saver. But anyway, you did it. Thank you very much. So you're going to say okay. Yes, I did what you told me to do.
Yes,
I'm
it's
happy.
rehooped.
Exactly. Now it's going to tell us that our goal is going to be to line that point up with this point.
With the point on the
from the last guy. That's all that screen is telling us is what we're about to do. Now, you see how way off that is?
Yep.
Okay.
Can you go over to this here?
Now, what I wanted to
Okay.
point out on the screen before you hit anything is see what's highlighted?
Yeah, this one here.
That stands for connection point.
Okay.
So everything we're doing right now is going to be the connection point. So you will see the projector move automatically. See that?
Yeah.
None of that. It's zeroing in on the connectors.
Okay.
Did you get it?
Yeah. And
That looks pretty super duper good.
Yeah, and
I
on
don't
the
know if they're
screen,
seeing
yeah,
it.
you
They
can
see
see-
the green arrow.
Yep, the
And if
screen
you're
right here.
really, really nervous, you can do a needle drop and find out if you're close enough to that connecting point. Oh, mine, you have to do it twice. Sorry. I have a sunset in
Yep.
it. Yep, look
Yep.
at that.
all right, we like that.
I do. So now you got to needle up or we can't get going.
Yeah, I put my needle up. Now, is there anything else we
You
want to
did.
check on that?
Well, I would, but the cool thing is, well, I would. I want to make sure I'm not running in over here. I want to make sure over here looks pretty straight, and I can already tell you it's rotated a little,
Yeah.
little crazy there.
Let me see if I can zoom
So
in
if
people
you
can
go
see it.
into layout and rotate, you can rotate it. Or you also can
So-
choose this middle point right here. I often
yeah.
use.
I just want to show people this.
Oh,
So,
sorry.
so this here, if you look at how far that is from the edge there,
Mm-hmm.
versus how close that one is to the edge, because we're trying to kind of, we want to kind of center it right between the two green lines. Is that
Mm-hmm. Right.
the idea?
Mostly I'm looking at the rotation.
Okay, yeah, and if
I'm more worried about the rotation.
yeah, and so if you can see here, the red line is our projector, the green is our project.
Yeah.
Okay, so that means then we want to come back over here.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to do this without making people seasick.
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
What am I
Layout.
hitting? Back to layout. I'm going to hit
Yeah,
rotate.
don't say okay. That takes us out of this thing. Oh, look at that.
So because we have it angled to the point, it's going to anchor off of that when I rotate?
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to hit OK.
yes. Isn't that cool?
Yes. So now, why did the whole thing just move on me?
Because it has highlighted this lower left-hand
Oh,
corner
okay.
automatically for you, and it's all set up for rotation. No, leave it where it is.
Okay, I'll go back to where I was at. And there's just no picture there.
Well, there is.
Oh, okay, I see
There
it. Yeah,
is.
okay.
There
My bad.
is. You don't want the.
Yes, I see.
Okay, thank you. Can you all see that? What I was pointing to is the green arrow. Oh, that looks really good. What's cool about what this does, Brent, is it keeps the anchor point where it was.
Yes.
And in the past, in other screens when we go into layout mode, this is a special layout mode. It is not our normal layout mode.
So
The other screens.
I just want to show this real quick while they get it on screen.
Okay,
So
yeah.
this green here is the projector. This is green is where we want to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just rotating this so that they both line up.
Right.
But if you're looking at this on the screen, you can see I have no pattern down here, and that's what I was concerned about.
But it shows you the needle point.
But I can see where the needle point's at. Okay.
That's how easy it is to line them up. Now, for giggles, go back to connection point. We're getting timed out here.
Letting you know.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. We'll get this lined up one way or the other.
Okay.
Oh, that's the next connection point. Okay, just say okay.
Okay. So I'm gonna
No,
hit okay?
Oh, actually, go up here.
Okay.
I just want to make sure.
Yeah. So we're off a hair. Oh no, it's because our thing is up. Do you see how that?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's our hooping.
Yeah.
We have a bubble.
Yeah.
But see how that stayed? We have a
Yeah.
bubble. Okay, let's say okay because we're over time.
We're over time?
Yeah,
Are
we
gonna
are.
do okay?
Yeah, we've already spent
Okay.
our time.
And then I'm gonna go.
Yep. If I were doing a quilt, I'd be pulling up my thread.
Oh yeah, we'd be doing
But-
all that stuff. Yeah.
You know, not for something
And
that
I didn't turn the speed up.
you did. And it's off a little bit, but that's
Yeah.
our hooping with the
Yeah, because of the
stabilizer.
bubble in the hoop is causing that.
Yeah. But that's how easy it is to connect and get the rotation straight.
That's kind of a cool tool.
It's a very cool
And I can
tool.
see where if you did this a lot, it would be a lot faster than me hacking my way through it with you.
And if I had a sashing hoop,
Yeah.
then I'm just sliding it through as I go.
Okay.
When you get to the end, and we can't show it today because we're out of time, but when you actually get to the end, instead of it shrinking this way,
Yeah.
it's going to ask you if you need to shrink it any this way or enlarge it a little bit this way.
Okay.
Because as you quilt, distances change.
Yep. And
So it actually allows you to make those fine-tune adjustments every time you hoop it.
cool. Okay.
It's very cool. And that's it. And then it keeps leading you through.
Yeah, and so it's just going to ask us if we want to connect, and we could hit okay, and it'd keep
Right.
walking us through the process.
Right.
So if you just follow the on-screen prompts,
That's
you
all you
can
gotta do.
kind of make your way through it.
You definitely
Yeah.
can make your way through it.
And with the projector makes it really nice because you can really line stuff
Mhm.
up. Nice.
It's very cool. Very cool. So
Okay.
that's that.
That's that. All right. I guess
Any
that's everything.
questions, give a shout out. Oh well.
Yeah.
We're out of time again.
Yeah, but hopefully I'll learn something. That was I like I said, I used this a few years back when they first came out with
It's
it,
way different
and it
now.
was not nearly as
Sophisticated.
intuitive
And
as
the
well.
reason I wanted to point this out is when we teach the quilting part,
Yep,
very similar.
yep. Okay. Well, that was pretty exciting.
Take us out, Brent.
I got to take us out because we're over time, and I appreciate you all hanging in there with us. Glad you all. Hope you all learned something. I did. I thought it was cool. But thanks for joining us for another episode of Sewing Shenanigans with Becky and Brent. Sew on and be excellent to each other.
Toodles!